Welcome to Deciphering Distortions, the second in a series of 12-part podcasts by the Grand Council, brought to you by Ancient Future Today.
Well, we welcome each and every one who is listening to this particular sharing of perspectives on reception. And it is part of a podcast series called Deciphering Distortions and also Navigating Chaos. And so it is in these times on your planet of Earth that we come to speak with you about how receptive you are to change. For indeed, have you had things thrust upon you that you would never, ever have thought you would endure or tolerate or embrace or certainly unconditionally receive in any way, shape, or form? Things like mandates of staying in your homes months at a time, or forcing your employees to have mandatory vaccinations, or to be forced to have a vaccination if you wish to move about freely and be a first-class citizen, or whatever it may be that you have been through in the 2 or plus years of COVID restrictions worldwide. Many of you have learned to receive things very differently than you were able to before. Many of you have found this hiatus from the normal busy, chicken with a head cut off, running around with busyness as part of your lifestyles. You have found it rather pleasant in some ways not to have to commute if that's what was part of your workday. Many people spending more than an hour each way to work each day, 5-6 days a week, which is 10 or 12 hours that those who have had a change now no longer are spending in that way. And that's a lot of time. You can learn a new language in that time every week. You can learn to know your children or your spouse or your neighbors or your friends perhaps better if you have 10 to 12 hours a week that you did not previously spend in that way. Or to even get better at your work if that is your focus and your passion. Many people have learned to receive possibilities that had never crossed their minds, perhaps quitting a job because it no longer serves or it is demanding something of you that is objectionable or unacceptable in some way. And so now you are going into business for yourself or partnering with someone else and going into business together. Or you have found a new job, or you have found a way to fund your lifestyle without having to work, or stopping working full-time, working part-time, and pursuing hobbies or inventions or whatever you are spending your time on. Some of you have retired early and you are finding that the change of pace suits you. Getting up every morning and going to work every day and coming home and having enough time to eat and shower perhaps and go to bed and sleep and get up and start all over again took something out of you, took something out of the years of dedication you had toward other people prospering and yourself perhaps thriving, we would hope, as a workaday individual, though normally what you are doing is working to keep an organization thriving and to keep yourself funded for the lifestyle to which you have grown to become accustomed. Others of you have embarked on new study areas where you are learning something either more than you knew before or for the first time. So you're receiving things into your life because all of a sudden rhythms changed, if they did. Some of you carried on as if life was or were normal. Others of you didn't change your rhythms at all. You just changed how you stayed busy. And others of you changed radically, whether you liked it or not. Some of you were stuck in your place where, when the restrictions went into force, you were stuck wherever you happened to be in your city or your nation, your world. And some of you have not even returned to the place where you normally would live as a result of that. because of travel restrictions or other decisions you may have made in the 2-year period. And however long this particular experiment on your planet continues, you will find yourselves in positions of receiving various different things from various different sources. And you will also find that you have degrees of reception to this, that, or the other. Now, in our practices in the Ancient Future of Today, in the mastery work that we work with the Megan Wagner, the Wei Shore, and the Diane Wilcoxon, the Oracle, what the 3 entities that we have just named ourselves, the Grand Council, we work on the premise that unconditional giving and receiving are positive things. Now, some of you would say, well, what about you don't want to receive the knife of a wielding criminal, do you? Or the wielded knife of a criminal coming to rob you and willing to harm you? No, of course not. Unconditional does not mean no discernment. It means that you perceive something without pre-biased opinion, or without choosing something else happening and brushing it with the same stroke. It is very different to be unconditionally receptive to life on its terms than to expect life to present itself according to your terms. And those of you that have learned more and more of unconditional reception to life as it is will find that with more practice, more time, and more experience with this approach to receiving and to being receptive, that you will have many more blessings, many more opportunities, many more perceptions and alternatives for how you perceive things than if you always stack up your receptivity to your expectations that you have pre-decided, consciously or not. So in order for you to navigate the chaos, to decipher distortions, and to stay as masterful as possible throughout the next intervening period after you are hopefully listening to us and contemplating the value of this particular few minutes of your life, we ask that you stay receptive to life on its terms with developing very highly skilled and highly tuned discernment and discretion. For indeed, it is important for you in your life to be able to say yes wholeheartedly to something that is seemingly for your best good, your highest good, your thriving. And it is also seemingly very good for you to say no if something does literally look like it is not to your advantage or for your well-being. Now, how do you become more discerning? Well, part of that is being able to say yes, and if this requires me to do X, Y, Z, I would like to decline. Thank you for the offer, nevertheless. You see, you stay open, you are receptive to the gift, if it were a gift, to the opportunity, were it an opportunity, and everything that is within you, your wisdom, your mastery, your truth, your value system, your degree of alignment, comes together more and more as you have opportunities that you have said yes and to, rather than no off the bat, or yes, but, because yes, but really is a no, is it not? So if you say yes, and here are my requirements for this opportunity, so-called, to be something that I will look at more closely. So there is much more to discernment. Discernment is an exceedingly important talent and skill and tool in mastery. And so we invite all of you to learn more and more about being discerning and utilize your discernment more and more as a result of inviting and being receptive to lots of other things, hopefully lots of new sorts of things coming into your lives with a Yes, and until we have the pleasure and the honor of speaking with you again in this way, we ask you to stay receptive to life on its terms and to enjoy your lives, to stay healthy and to love, laugh, and stay in the light side of yourselves as possible. For now, adieu.
Thank you for listening. Please join us for future podcasts on this same channel.